On today's episode of the DeRaud-Messinger Show, we talk about a recent commitment for the Longhorns. Longhorns fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. So to begin, Dylan, yes, we got a commitment happen at the beginning of April, but it's important to not skip over these commitments, Dylan, because when they become big star players for the Longhorns, we're going to regret it. So in this video, S'Maje Burrell out of North Crowley in the Fort Worth area, committed to Texas. He's a 3-star linebacker, inside linebacker at that, who has Dylan offers from many schools, as you know these guys just do at this level, including Florida, Oklahoma, Ohio State, some small, really small D1 programs at those schools, but those along with 26 in general overall, so obviously a highly touted player as normal. But Dylan, what do you think about Burrell? What is he going to bring?
Yeah, Devon, to touch on what you said earlier, I mean, these videos are kind of like, freshman yearbook versus senior yearbook, Like, it's nice to go back and look at these and be like, dude, we were right. Or we're completely wrong and didn't turn out well, right? So,
Always right.
right now, it's all about the hope. And Devon, and the hope that I see out of this is that the athleticism and the aggressiveness that Burrell plays with on the field. When looking at his tapes, I've noticed that he's able to recognize those read option plays. He's right on that quarterback, or he's right on that running back, right off the hut. So right after the snap, if you want to say that too. But that's definitely something that jumps out to me. He seems like he's trying to take the head off of the ball carrier at any moment, really, on any play, and he's always in on every play too, which is a very important tangible. The worst thing you can have for your defense is when your middle linebacker is not in the play at all times. So seeing a guy like that in on every play, it's gonna be really refreshing for UT fans who are in need of that, Mike guy in the middle, controlling that defense, and that plays with a certain, chip on his shoulder or just a heart with aggressiveness that you want to see out of a guy. So I think it's a huge get. We'll see how it turns out for him. I'm a little concerned just based off what I was not seeing really is how he's going to do in on-ball coverage, Devon, against tight ends and running backs. I'd like to see how he's going to do in those coverage situations. But he does soak up that middle of the field really well, especially on those in routes where he's just kind of playing off the ball and reading the QB's eyes.
Yeah, definitely as a linebacker now soon to come in college, but in today's college football, you definitely have to be doing your fair share of coverage, especially on those sneaky tight ends. There are guys like Jatavion Sanders for Texas that are the third stringer, Dylan, and they're running like the wind, which means that first stringers and second stringer, they can catch everything. So that's Burrell's job in the future. I do want to see some more on his tape, like you're saying, just of him in coverage. But Dylan, 2021 stats here that I'm going to give to you kind of indicate why we don't see that. It's because he had 104 tackles last year. Not too many defensive plays, on the ball otherwise that they have to include. He also had 5 sacks, which is pretty decent, 4 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries, and had an interception, which was in his huddle, Dylan. I don't know if you saw that, but he made a Willie Mays-esque catch and then got absolutely hammered.
Went
But
through some people for sure for
he
that.
went
Yeah.
through. He did, but he kept the ball even though he just got annihilated. So he's a strong kid. That's what you can tell from the tape. Like you were saying, he kind of explodes plays on read options and stuff like that. But my number one note, as you mentioned, is he's a hard hitter. There was one play where the highlight was great, Dylan. He's tackling people left and right, as, people at the D1 level should. But there's one play where it just kind of came out of nowhere. I think it was like 3 minutes in, and the dude's helmet popped off. And I was like, oh, my gosh.
He's roughing them up. Like, he's taking you down and then giving you a little something to remember him by, So you're going back to the huddle going, I don't want to go up the middle again, coach. Like,
Yeah. They definitely have their, face mask imprinted on their face after getting that hit. But middle linebacker, obviously the position you want to have a hard hitter, and he's indicated that. I still want to see obviously how he does his senior year. But another thing that you also touched on, Dylan, you stole all my points, honestly, here is he's a middle linebacker, position of need for Texas. Overshown right now is playing middle linebacker, and obviously he's going to be graduating soon. But the Longhorns have really not had a dominant threat at middle linebacker in quite some time. So maybe Burrell is the first of those guys that changes things, or maybe someone who's already on the roster now who gets their shot eventually will take that role, but, you can only hope. And then the last thing, Dylan, track and field. I mean, we nerd out when it comes to that, but I like seeing these guys in skill positions or not skill positions. You know, middle linebacker, I bet they'd argue they have some skills, but he's out there running track.
Everything's a skill position.
Especially if you've seen like Georgia's defensive line. I mean, those guys, I'm sure, run track. But, I mean, Burrell running track. Dylan, how do you think that translates on the football field itself?
Well, I mean, Devin, when you're fast in real life and, you're fast on the football field, it's going to translate well. So if you're running really fast in track or jumping really high, you're going to see that on the football field. And you can see that when right off the snap, if he's got a design blitz, he's going straight at him and he's already disrupting the backfield. So that's how I've seen it translating. I don't see how that's going to stop in the future either.
Yeah, and especially when you're running track, you really see that a lot of times during the game. It's hard to see it directly translate, but when there's like a fumble or something and there's open space, you can see it in the form, see if these guys have been coached up during the off season and not just been hitting the weight room. Now, of course, we promote the weight room, Dylan, on this channel, but you need it in balance. Everything in life is about moderation. Get on the track too. Every athlete that's watching this, but overall excited about Burrell. He's a DFW kid, so maybe you get to see him in the future at a game soon, but overall, congrats to him for committing. And thank you guys for watching this video. We hope you liked it, and like it if you did like it. And hopefully we got some more videos coming for you soon, and maybe sneak peek, maybe a different type of video to this channel with Dylan and I and someone else. So we'll see. But thank you again, and have a great rest of your night.